Very good morning, everybody. Morning on this beautiful sunny. I love that on the feeds. Everybody's putting up all the snow and all the cold. And I love, Rebecca, you put up the sunshine at the beach. I'm on your side, Rebecca. We just have lots of sunshine here. It's like a beautiful blue sky hot, and it's searingly hot. Well, not hot like not Brisbane hot, but actually it's very hot. So I just love it. We have these two different parts of the world, and we have these huge different contrasts of weather, where everybody's in the middle of the winter. We're just hot. Anyway, so I thought it was great. I love seeing the photos. They're good. So people keep putting them up. They're great. Of everybody in the world going through different seasons. It's quite unique. I quite like it. So welcome to the Qigong class. And what do we? I had something that come up today, so we're going to do something. It came up before the class, but I'm not sure how it's going to manifest through the class. But it was something really important. We've been doing a little bit of it without bringing my attention to it, but today I'm going to bring our attention to it and spend a little bit of time with it. But then we'll manifest it into some exercises as well, but we'll see how that works out anyway. I'm not sure. Who knows? We're going to bow first though today, because sometimes I forget to bow. I bow in my own head, but not in the group, so we'll do it today. All back. Gong. Good, so we're going to do our warm-ups now, so we'll go back to, and we've done our bow, we'll go back to our warm-ups. I was down the beach the other day. You'll laugh. I was down the beach doing these exercises down the beach the other day. And I think they think I'm a nutter. I was just cracking up laughing. And I'll do my elbows now. Now I'll just move my shoulders, my hips forward. Just leave my elbows relaxed. I'm doing my shoulders. The other way. It's a bit of a trick, some of these. Very good. Arms, shoulders we're doing, moving our hips. Yes, I've been doing these exercises for a few weeks now, ever since I've discovered how fantastic they are. And they're great. They certainly make the body really different. And what I noticed the other day, I had a massage. The massage the other day, the classic Bali massage, and for people who've been to Bali, giving a massage in Bali is one of the things you do here. And I noticed that I could relax my feet and part of my body when she was picking it up and moving. I could relax it easier after doing this exercises. It made a difference. So I was impressed that there was a sort of like a gauge, how I could gauge how they're working, because it can make a difference. It's great. I'm still doing my hips backwards and forwards from the shoulders, eh? So now the shoulders, elbows and wrists to relax. I'll go sideways with my hips. Yeah, but the funny looking at, when I finished that exercise with my neck, and I looked up and I saw people just looking at me with a strange look on their face. Oh, it was just cracking me up. My sense of humour. What do they call it? Oh, the Pink Floyd exercise. Get the loony off the park, the loony off the grass. Oh, I love it. Good, shoulders. I'm doing this with my hip. I was at the gym the other day because I do weight training too, because I quite like going to the gym. I spent a lot of time in the gym during my years, of course, but I actually quite like. I don't do any big heavy weights. I just do weights to keep my muscles strong. And I was sitting there, and in between exercise, I'd do whatever I'm doing, do the lifting or whatever I was doing, and then afterwards I'd just shake muscles like this and just let the body go and let everything relax. But these guys are like this, and they finish and they can't move. They're stuck because what they don't do is the stretching afterwards. They just building muscle, but they're not actually having the body for relaxed as well. And so I think you need to do both. Otherwise, I think your energy and your chi's just going to get stuck. I would imagine it's going to happen like that. I don't have any judgment on what they do. I think that everybody does what they want for whatever reason they do it. I don't care. But I just noticed the lack of flexibility they have. Yeah. And I'm not saying all of them, because some people are very flexible. I wouldn't say I'm the most flexible person in the world either, but I have ability just to relax the body. I can just let the body relax. And a lot of that's coming from these exercises. Cool. Cool, do our spine. Now this is the one that's probably the hardest one I've found to do. And as I'm moving my hips and I'm relaxing my spine. And what's happened is by the time you get to your neck sort of flicks to the side as the whole spine goes up, and then the neck flicks. So net flicks. Sorry, that was my pun for the day. You just turn the vertebra, they all turn. The bottom one turns in, the middle, the next one, and they turn out of order. And by the time you get to the head, there's a sort of like a flick at the top, and then it goes around the other way, and there's sort of like it's slightly behind. And I can I can feel the ones in my neck. I can feel the ones in my neck at the end, and you get that sort of flick, 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 flick. But some of the ones in the middle of my spine, they're pretty tight. And to get those moving, and I can even feel the L4 and L5 one moving. I can feel that vertebra down the bottom. I can actually feel it moving from side to side. We're sitting on top of my sacrum. I can feel it actually moving, because I do a lot of exercise with my hips, so I can feel this one's quite free. But there's a couple of vertebrae a bit higher. Yeah, they're not so free. And to get to the center, I can just feel when I'm doing that exercise, I'm just letting my spine relax and my neck relax. Yeah, it's a bizarre feeling. I'm going to perfect this just with practice and just letting go. Yeah, interesting. It's such a great move. Yeah, our neck ones. Yeah, the neck ones I like the neck ones. And then side and side. I just love how this feels. You sort of get to the top and then it just falls over. And then your head just drops. And then the pink forward exercise. Moving your hips. Just let your head rock. Let your head just go. You do get a little bit dizzy doing this one though. Go the other way. Because you're just letting the head go. Yeah, love that exercise. Look at our hips relax. Move our knees forward and backwards. Let our hips relax. And just relax your hips, relax your sacrum. And you'll feel L4 and L5 rocking, and the whole spine's rocking backwards and forwards too. Move the knees side and side, let the hips relax. Do circles with the knees. You can do circles with the knees or circles with your ankles, either or, but let the hips relax. And of course when you're doing this, the whole spine's moving, your whole neck's moving, your arms are moving. You can see with my arms, everything's moving. And it's all coming from my knees. Another way. Good, now we go the other way from the hips to the knees, so you're moving your hips, relax your knees. We can do exactly the same exercise, you just have a different intention, and it feels very different. Very good. Side and side for the hips, relax the knees. Good, hip circles, relax the knees. Back the other way. move the knees, relax the ankles. And of course, this is happening at the same time when you do the other exercise, of course. But but when you focus on just the knees, relaxing the ankles, it's different than if you don't think about it. But as soon as I bring intention to it, then it feels different. Now I'm going to let the ankles relax and move the knees, and it feels totally different if I think of anything else. Go the other way. I'm just letting the ankles relax. Cool. And pick up one leg. Just moving your knee and your hip. Circles. Which is very difficult one way and the other way. To other side. Circles. If you teach these in a class, or if you're doing these in a class, you might want to give everybody a chair to lean against, so it's a bit easier. But it's also, in saying that, it's very good practice to stand on one leg, so we're going to talk about that today. Good. Relax the legs, relax the hips, relax the spine, relax the shoulders, arms, neck. There we go. Done. Glass of water. Hang on a second. I turn the sound off then. Very good. Very good. So what we're going to do today is there's a couple of key things in Qigong that are very important in Qigong, but they're very important in the managing the body's energy. There's a couple of big ones, and maybe we'll do the other one on Thursday if I remember, of course. Who knows what will happen by Thursday. But anyway, today we're going to do one of them, and one of them is the ability to stand on one leg. Yep, is to be able to stand on one leg and have the strength in the leg and the solidness in the leg that you can stand on one leg. And if there's a couple of exercises we do quite a few of them. We're doing one at the moment when we're doing our loosening up anyway. We've already engaged that, and we're also moving when we stand on one leg, which makes it even another trick, of course, because it makes the body move, so the balance has to be even more precise. So we're going to work with it, because there's always, in just about every set, pretty much in every set of Qigong exercises, there's an exercise where you stand single weighted. There just is, and all of them, because they know how important this is. The other one, of course, is what we talk about is the squatting down, is to be able to squat down, is to be able to go down into the posture, into these postures, and there's lots of Qigong exercises that do this as well. They come down and sit down and squat, because that particular movement of the Qi when you're down on your hips and down on your knees is such an important thing, because when you get older, your hips and knees are the things that go, generally. And so if you can keep these really relatively fit and healthy by doing the squats, and we'll do the squat exercises on Thursday, and just to understand, if I remember on Thursday. But we're going to do the one leg standing, and so I saw somebody do something the other day, and I thought, well, that's really useful. And so I just came back up again today, so obviously we're going to do that today. So we'll do the one leg. So how we do that is it's practicing how to be on one leg to maintain your weight. As I say, we're doing it now anyway, but we're doing the hard one because we're actually doing circles with our legs, and we're trying to keep one leg weighted. Whatever you notice, or one of your legs is a lot easier to do than the other one. And it might be okay to do this, but as soon as you start doing circles and the whole body's moving like that, it's not easy to keep your balance. So here's a stage back from, because that would be like an advanced one to do that. I don't think that's easy to do in the slightest, by the way. So we'll start off with whatever foot you start off, we'll start off with our right foot. I'll mirror you anyway. So pick up your left foot. And what you want to do is you're going to have to counter weight. So if we pick up a leg, to do that inside the body, you have to move the energy over. It's not just the weight is the energy. You move the energy over so you can pick, because you can't pick it up unless I take weight off it. I've got to take it 100% off so I can pick it up, yeah. And I hold that. I'm just going to move over because I'm standing on a hole in the ground. And I bring the leg up, yeah. And so if I want to stick the leg out to the side, if I just stick it normally out the side, what's going to happen is I'm just going to slowly fall over, because there's a big piece of weight out to the side like a cantilever. So to do that, I have to bring the torso over the other side to compensate for it. This is logical. This is not brain surgery, this one. So I'm going to lean this way to bring the leg out the side, yeah? And if I go down, I can bend it down slightly, and I'm going to pull more weight over. Then I can bring it back. Then I can push it to the back. To push it to the back, I'm going to have to lean forward to do that, which is obvious. I'm going to take it back, and I'm going to lean forward. Now, if I want to go further back, then I'm going to have to bring down further the front foot, yeah? And then I'm going to have to come back again. Now, if I want to go to the front, I'm going to have to bring it to the front. I'm going to lean back slightly, and I'm going to lower it down to the back, yeah? We're doing those ones. So we're going to do those together. We'll do it both sides, just as a practice, so we can get this sense of balance. One of the biggest things that happens with old people, and that they lose their sense of balance, especially when you get older. And one of the biggest things that happen with older people are falls. People fall over when they're older because they lose the balance. And that's why they were sponsoring, in New Zealand, they were sponsoring Tai Chi to be taught to the elderly. And accident compensation, which is the place where you have an accident, you claim money from the government to pay for your accident, were funding the classes, were funding the Tai Chi classes. And they worked out by teaching people Qigong, they cut the fall rates down by like 80%. People didn't fall as much if they were doing Tai Chi if they're elderly. So it was well worth their money to do that as a preventative thing. So what we're doing, we're doing it voluntarily. We're not worrying about anything else except for our own strength and our own well-being. Yeah. So we're going to go to the side, center, back, center, forward, center, side, center. And if you lose balance, just put your toe down. Back, center, forward, center. Good. Swap legs. Side. See, my right leg's way stronger than my left. And bend yourself down too. Bend down on your leg as well. Come down. Back. Bend the knee in the front. Front. Forward. Bend down. Back out to the side. Up. To the back. Up. Forward. Up. Good. We'll try the other side again. Goes the right fives again. Side, up, back, whoops, up, forward, up. So I'm just doing the sets of twos at the moment. Because remember, I haven't done these either, by the way, so I'm doing them the same time you're doing them. God, I can see how good you could do this all the time. I could see how good this would change your balance. And we're going to take it for a test drive anyway after we do this. Back, forward, and up. Side, bend the leg, up, forward, up, back, up. Other side again. Side, up, back, whoops, up, forward, up, side, up. Don't put your foot down if you can help it. Try not to put it down. Back, up, forward, up. Other side, side. And I'm going side, back, forward at this stage. That's the pattern. It doesn't have to lead that way. Back, whoops, forward, up, side, up, back, up, forward, up. We'll do one more time each side, eh? Gee, it'd be a good workout. Our legs are going to get strong. Side, up, back, up, forward, up, side. Boy, all over the place. Back, up, forward, up. Other side last time. Side, so much easier on the right foot. Back, up, forward, up, side, up, back, up, forward, up. Good, there you go. Now I want to try one-legged exercise to see how much this has changed. And we'll do one dynamic one so we can see how much stronger our legs got. We'll go into the into the long life. We'll go and take the exercise, the bird flies south for the winter. I'm not sure if that's exactly the name of it, but it's close. Yeah, so remember when we do this, we're going to go with the right foot. So the hands, as the hands come up, the foot comes up on the right foot. Hands go down. Hand goes to the top. And then comes down. We change weight onto the left foot. Weight's on the left foot. You see it's way more stable now than it was before. Up to the top. And down. Comes up on the left foot. Yeah, see the stability is different. It's changed. It's made the leg way more stable. Comes down. Up. Yeah, I love this exercise. It's really cool. This is the what exercise is this? This is the Kung Fu. What a Karate Kid, isn't it? I love it. Karate Kid exercise. Same posture. This posture here is how he stood on the post. I watched it with my son. It hasn't. It's still a good movie, even though it's quite dated. It's still a great movie. Up, down, up. Now we added another piece to this. We might as well make this even more precise. When we step up to here. When we put our foot down, put your foot out to the side first as your hands go down. Put your foot out to the side, put the toe down, put the kidney point down, and then change weight. So we put the foot down before we do that. Yeah, comes up to the top. I'll show you from the other side. So we change weight across and to the left. We pick the foot up. Now as we put the foot down, stay weighted on the one foot. I'm still weighted on the left foot. Toe, heel, and then come across. There you go. Might as well do it precisely. We'll do the other one again, so you get back to the toe, heel. See, if I go there, my toe and my heel on the ground, but if I'm not weight, I can still pull that foot back. I haven't changed. Now I'm going to change weight as I go to the centre. Up. Very cool. That's exactly how it's done precisely, which we'll do in the Zhan Zhuang Qigong course soon. Oh, no, the Zhan Zhuang Qigong has a different version. We'll do the other one too. Breathing in, breathing out. Move across. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out. Foot goes down first, then change weight. Yeah, that's precise. Comes up, it's not easy to do. Down. Change weight. Foot down first, then move across. Perfect. Good, we're finished there. Well done. So what I noticed then was doing the exercises, doing these forward, back, and side exercises, it made my leg a lot more stable when I was doing that exercise. So they're really useful. We'll continue doing. But you imagine how difficult this is. It's one thing putting your foot forward, and one thing putting it back into the side. But one thing, shaking, it's one thing. But when you start doing circles with your hips, now the whole body's doing this. So to have balance when your body's doing that and standing on one leg while the whole body's doing this, it's actually not easy. I have a little bit more respect about how difficult that is to do on one leg. Because that's not easy to do on one leg. Bring your circles one way and circles the other way. And especially the other leg, this one. To do that and to keep balance is probably taking that idea of that balance to a whole nother level, because you're doing this inside your body. It's not just holding it, you're shaking it around doing circles, which creates the circle energy in your body anyway, which means the whole body's doing this. That's great. Anyway, just a thought anyway. So we'll stay with the one-legged exercise. We'll do another one. And we'll go into the Zhan Zhuang Qigong because it's the tricky one in the Zhan Zhuang Qigong. The 10th exercise, so it's the last one, where golden rooster stands on one leg. We're going to the right side. So remember, when we stand on one leg, the other leg's forward, bottom hand's up and the other hand's up. So one hand's up, one palm's facing up, one palm's facing down. the leg we're standing on is the same hand that's down. So the leg that's up, the arm's up. Leg that's down, the hand's down. So you can remember which sequence of that, and you don't do this. It's that. Yeah, and see it's stronger too. Change sides, goes around. Now as we change sides, we're going to show the transition. It comes down as we step to the side, and palms bend up, palm down. Then it turns around, and it pushes up as the leg comes up, the hand comes up. See the leg and the hand are moving together. Comes up, and then once you get into the posture, then you sit in the posture. You poke your hip out. Just poke your hip out to the side. That way, and you sit down into the posture. Good. Then you stand up and the hands come up. Foot goes down first, heel toe, palm up, palm down, change the weight, and the hand pushes up and one goes up, one goes down. Get into the posture and then sit into the posture. Sit down to the posture, push your hip out, sit into the posture. Good. I'm standing on an ant's nest. And then we come up, the hands come up, the bottom hand comes up the inside, the top hand goes to the outside. You end up with a palm up, palm down. So you can see palm up, palm down. So it goes from there, comes down this way, inside hand comes up past the dantian, settles, then it comes across the top and then turns around and pushes up as the foot comes up to there, to sit there. Then you lower yourself down, stick your hip out, and sit inside the posture. You have this twisting of the body as you do that. And then it comes back up, palm down, change weight, hand comes up, it goes across the top of the hand, turns around and pushes up. And the other one goes down into the posture, then sit into the posture, lower yourself down, push the hip out. Good. Now, what makes this tricky is we're doing it 100% correct, and we're standing on the ball of our feet. We're not going to weight on our heel. So most people, when they do this, they'll be weighted on the heel, their whole foot. They'll be standing on their whole foot, the heel and the foot. Now, when the monks did this in the monastery, there's one of the classes we do in the live 200 hour. It's a class called pot walking class, as we learn how to walk on pots. And they used to have a courtyard with these pots on it. And you used to have to step on the pot. And with one foot, I'll just step back so you can see what I'm doing. You have to step on the pot. And the pot was only like that round. So your kidney point went right smack in the middle of the pot. Your toes weren't necessarily on the pot. They were on sort of crouching around the outside of the pot. And you're sitting on your kidney point, but the heel was out in the open. The heel was not even on the pot. It was sitting out here somewhere. The heel was out here and the foot's sitting on the pot. So in theory, when you were sitting on that pot, you could bounce up and down and your heel's not going. It's got nothing to touch because there's no air. It's suspended. But just weight's on the kidney point. And then they'd step, kidney points again. So they wouldn't do heel toe because there's nowhere to put your heel. They just put their toe on the pot and sit on that point. Once they were 100% weighted, then they move across. Well, you'll see monks in Shaolin Temple with the big poles. This is a transition from the first one of that one. And you see them on the big poles, and they stand on the one pole on one leg, and sometimes they stand with this leg up here, which is a totally different thing, but we're going to do this one, like that on top of the pole. And they're standing on the kidney point, and the heel's not on the pole. The heel's sitting off the pole, and they're just standing on the balls of their feet on the posture. And this is what the traditional aspect of this exercise, and what's happened over the years, is people start rocking back on their heels because you're on the ground, you're not standing on a pole. And they stand on the heel, so you get a bigger platform, so it makes it a lot easier. They even straighten their leg to make it easier. But the true essence is your knees bent, kidney point, and you're only standing on a very small piece of platform, but you're standing on your muscles. Yeah, and that's what happens with this exercise. So the precision of this is very different, and it does take practice, and it does take practice for the one leg standing, which is really important so we don't fall over when we get old. Not that any of us are old, but when we get to 90 or 100 years old, I still plan to be a spring chicken at 90, so whatever a spring chicken looks like, I'll be looking like that. And I'll still be able to stand on one leg at 90. That's my goal. My goal is to still stand on a leg with 100 too, by the way, so it's okay. And do the squats as well. So we're standing on that posture. So remember, opposite hand, leg that's standing on, hand down, leg that comes across, leg high. The leg that's up, the hand that's up. Yep. As it comes down, the hands come together, the bottom hand turns over and it comes up past the lower dantian, gathers the chi out of the lower dantian, brings it up, and then connects the dantian to heaven. And then the bottom hand's connecting to the earth. Yeah. That posture. Yeah. Good. Foot goes to the side. Toe first, then heel. Then change weight as we come to the center. Yeah. Getting the chi from the lower dantian. Bringing it up. Changing weight now. Turning the foot. Hand goes to the sky. Now there's a little bit more technical piece to this, but this will be enough for today. Goes to the side. Toe, heel. Change weight to the center. Bring the hands to the middle. Change weight. Hand turns. Push towards heaven. Knee bend, stand in the kidney points. Now if you're teaching this in a class, of course, what you can do to start off with, you'll find people will wobble around a lot doing this exercise. When they're standing in this position, they'll wobble a lot. Don't stand there too long, just let them build it up slowly. Don't stand there for 5 minutes in this posture to start off with. Don't kill your students. Just do enough. And you'll be able to see them wobbling anyway too much, and do it enough where they feel confident. Because what happens after a while, the leg gets sore, and when the leg gets tight, it starts shaking more. And you'll notice that after a while when you're doing this exercise, that your legs will start losing their ability to do the balance very well, and you'll find that they're going to be moving even more, and so they'll get worse and worse as they keep doing this exercise. They won't get better, they're going to get worse, because the leg gets tired, and this adjustment of pulling ligaments one way and the others, and adjusting the weight, and you feel inside your foot's moving, trying to catch the weight. Well, that uses a lot of power doing that, and after a while your body's going to get tired doing that, and as I say, the wobbling's going to get bigger, not less. What happens is this, what builds it up is the practice. To sit in that posture and hold the posture. Yeah? And it's a practice thing. God, look at the sweat. It's crazy hot. Yeah, good. And you sit in that space and you feel your foot on the ground and there's no movement in the foot going on, it just sits. And you don't feel ligaments moving either right or left, it just sits still, and it's perfectly still and there's no movement. You don't feel your big toe grasping or your little toe grasping, you feel nothing. And you keep changing, and that comes with nothing, just practice. But I believe it's a very important thing to do, because when we walk we stand on one leg, we have to, because when the other leg's going forward we've got to be standing on something. It's pretty logic, isn't it? So we stand on one leg a lot, but what we use in the one leg is standing when we're walking is we use momentum. And so we use momentum, so we can walk really badly, but we can use momentum to hide the inability we have to actually stand on one leg, because we can use momentum to hide that. But if you walk really slowly, then you watch people how badly they walk. Yep. And that's why Tai Chi walking is so important. It teaches you how to do that. Yeah. Very good. Bring our hand down. We're going to do one more exercise. We're going to do something else. We'll do one from the Zhan Zhuang, another one from Zhan Zhuang Qigong. There's a lot of single exercises, single weighted. We'll do playing the lute or playing the pipa. The lute is the I think pipa is the Chinese word for a string instrument. It looks like a double bass. So we'll step out with our right leg. We'll stand on our left leg. We'll step out with the right, so we go towards the right side first. Now remember, this time we have our heel on the ground, and we're resting on it with our hands this way. Remember, the hand that's forward is the hand that's high, and the hand that all the weight we're standing on is the one that's bottom, like that. Yep. And it's like holding on to the string when you're playing the pipa this way, like a bass guitar. But your hands are both facing towards the front. The palms are facing sideways. So one palm goes that way, and the other one goes that way. If I go to the front like that, one goes that way, and the other one goes that way. We've done some exercise where we talked about sending energy out, goes right around the earth, and goes right around and comes back into the opposite hand. Yep, which we do in Zhan Zhuang Qigong. Parts of there. So now we've got our heel on the ground. So as soon as we if we're standing on one leg and we're doing this, I'll just bring it up so you can see. This is what actually you're doing. You're standing there like that on one leg, kidney points again, one leg, and that leg's not touching the ground. But as soon as we put the heel on the ground, it gives you access. It gives you access to another point of contact, but it gives you another bit of stability as well. But what we have a tendency to do, and you'll notice this in your classes, the people who teach, is the tendency is that people will move forward. They'll move forward. I'm going to exaggerate this so you can see me do this. They'll move forward with the weight onto that heel. So now they've got the heel, and they've got a balance between the back and the front foot. So they've actually moved their weight forward. So they've got a bipod sort of transformation going on. And now they've got weight. And so how you stop that is get them to sit in the posture and say, right, move your front foot back. And you'll see, and if the person has to go backwards to move their foot back, you know they put weight in it. They should be able to sit there and say, move your front foot back, and you should be able to move, and your head doesn't move. You should go forward, go backwards, go forward, and nothing happens to the body. But as soon as you put any weight in it, that means you're going forward slightly. You'll have to come backwards first to empty it out before you can move it back, and that'll be the telltale sign that they've actually got weight in their leg. And of course we try not to do that. So for us as a practice, when we're stepping out to do this exercise, we bring our hands and feet up. When we touch the ground with our heel, the focus is just to touch the heel like a hair touch of the heel on the ground. So it's touching the ground, it's just touching, and you could move it back anytime you want it. So it's actually just touching. And so we're not going to cheat by putting any weight on it, because as soon as you put weight on it, it takes weight off the back leg as well. So when we bring it back and step back, the same thing going the other side. And when we come up, bring your hands up. And when we lower it down, because when we bring our hands up and then we bring the hands down. When we come down and we sit down on our palms, the heel just touches the ground. Just touches the ground, and that's it. It's like I've got grass under my heel, so I can feel the little bits of grass touching my heel. My heel's just touching the grass. It's not sitting down on the ground, it's just touching the grass at the top, and I can feel the spikes of touching my heel. So I'm basically standing on one leg, my heel's out. And that'll give you a way better practice than if you put your heel down and you put any weight on the heel at all. And say for your class people, it all depends. If you've got old people in your class, standing on one leg, that could be really, really difficult. So let them put them heel down, encourage them to take as much weight as they can off, but let them put the weight on the ground. Let them have that heel as a stability thing. It's fine to adjust that. Yeah, but just know that the true essence of it is you lift the weight off the heel, and now all of a sudden all the weight's on the back leg. And you notice that if I just do that with me, stand on the back leg, put the heel on the ground, and move a little bit of weight onto your heel, a little bit. Yeah, now notice that that's easier, right? It's logically easier because now I've got 2 points of contact. But as soon as you watch how far back you've got to go back until you empty that heel off, until you go all the way off so the heel is not on the ground, and you'll feel this muscle engage more to let that heel go. Yeah, as you go back, you'll find this one's engaging more. Now you'll feel your ankle, you'll feel your calf engaging, and then to get the weight off this leg so it's just sitting on the ground, now this leg's really engaged now, isn't it? But as soon as you put any weight on the front, the back leg can relax, and you don't want to do that. You want to keep it the other way. Yep, there you go. But they produce lots of energy, as I said, Zhan Zhuang Qigong, look at this, produce lots of power in your body. And a lot of it's coming from the single weightedness, because as soon as you stand on single weight, instead of energy coming up through both the 6 meridians on both sides, well, it actually comes up 3 of them on each side and goes down the other way. But as soon as you're having the 2 on the ground, you've got 6 meridians that are coming up, 6 meridians going down. As soon as you change it over and you change weight, now you've only got 3 coming up and 3 going down, so they will double. So the three meridians that are going down, which is you could think about it too, the gallbladder, the bladder, and the stomach that are going down, you've got twice the amount of energy going down into the ground now, because the other one's disengaged, because it's not on the ground anymore, it's off the ground, where I'll just put on my knee just for the moment. But not only that, is the energy coming up from the ground, you've got double amount of energy coming up the kidney meridian, the liver meridian, and the spleen. You just doubled it. So there's a lot of power on that one leg. But when you've got 2, it's divided between the 2, logical, yeah. My teacher, I just had a flashback then. My teacher, of course, has passed away a long time ago, but he used to get you to kick his foot. Yeah, kick his foot. He'd stand there like that, or he'd stand there with one leg. He'd stand there with one leg like that, or he'd stand there, no matter what it was with the leg. Now, this is an old guy, and he said, And I used to say, you know, if you've only got one leg and the other leg's empty, if you sweep this leg that you're standing on, you're just going to fall over. You know, because that's logical. Since if I've got two, you've got to sweep one leg, I've got the other one. And he said, but you've got one single weight on one leg. I mean, you're vulnerable with only one leg weight. He says, yeah, that's fine. He says, kick the leg that I'm standing on. I said, okay. So I'm standing there like this. And I come up and I went, bang, and I kicked his leg. And I went, ow. It was like kicking a steel bar. I said, oh my God, what's in that leg? And he said, do it again. And it's kicking harder. So I kicked it, bang. And it's just like, if you hit it really hard, you'd break your foot. It was just like this solid beam, and he was, all that weight was on the one leg. He was a little guy, but it was all that power in the one leg. It was not even going down, going up, but it was like a rock. It was like steel. It was not a rock, it was like steel. It was like kicking steel. And there was no give in it. There was no vibrational movement. It was just poof. It was like walking up to a big tree, this big tree behind us, this big tree, and then kicking the tree and expecting it to move. You might be able to move the branches up there, but that trunk, you kick it, was like that. It was like kicking the trunk of a tree, and it's like, oh my God. So it wouldn't make any difference. No matter how hard you swept that leg, you were not going to move that leg. If anything, you would break your leg hitting it. It was just that hard. I said, oh, I wouldn't want to. And I've seen people in MMA, in mixed martial arts, breaking their ankle when they've kicked other people's legs. They've kicked at somebody's leg and they just snapped their ankle off and they just broke their ankle. And I've seen there's pictures of it. It's horrendous look. It doesn't look good. But they train their ankles and legs to be so strong you can keep kicking them and nothing happens. Their bones are strong because they've had impact in their bones, and their bones get really, really hard. And their muscles and their sinews get really hard, and they kick each other really hard and nothing happens. If they kick you, one kick, you wouldn't be able to walk. You'd just collapse. But they kick each other quite frequently and still stand up, only because they've prepared themselves for it. So they have that idea of this tree trunk that they're standing on. You kick my tree trunk and see how good your leg feels. And so their own experience of that, of kicking his leg, there's no way you could budge it. I don't know how you'd have to drive a car into it. I don't think you could actually kick it hard enough to move that leg. It was that solid. It was just bizarre. Anyway, so back to one leg. And so part of that is to understand the principle of standing on one leg. You double the amount of energy coming up and down the leg, so it makes a lot of power on the one leg, and then when you do it the other side, now you're creating all this power on the other leg, so you're increasing the ability. When you stand double weighted, you have all that extra power on both legs. Now it's a very different human being standing there, isn't it, eh? Leave you that thought? Great. Can't change my shirt. Have a beautiful day. If you're in the snow, go out there and build a snowman. I love actually somebody put a picture of a snowman up, didn't they? I love it. Be great. Have a good day, and I'll see you all on Thursday. And yeah, be cool. For those who are in Bali in January, don't forget January 5. Come and do the Zhan Zhuang Qigong course with me here. It's fantastic. We're in a beautiful Charlotte. It's away from everywhere, and you can see out the jungle either side of it, and there's nobody around. It's just such a beautiful space. Anyway, have a beautiful week, eh? God, even standing here right now, I'm standing on both the kidney points, and they just go boof. I feel like the tree trunk at the moment of just this solid. There's no movement in them, they're just solid. What a great feeling, eh? The heels are just touching the ground, but the kidney point's really solid right now. Yeah, it's just beautiful. Okay. Cool. Very cool. Just bow to each other. Bow to everybody else going to come and do the class. Stay strong, people.